स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथामृतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण So today is the last day, final. So one chapter is remaining, chapter 7. So we'll have to go a little fast today, marathon. So some devotees suggested we will just read translation, not the verse. We will not recite the verse. And some purports we will see, some important purports. But directly we'll start with the translation. Chapter 7, the sacrifice performed by Daksha. So, till now we saw Brahma satisfies Lord Shiva and he prays to forgive all the demigods. And now they call Lord Shiva to continue the sacrifice. Daksha also repents, and then when they are about to perform the sacrifice, that time Lord himself appears, and then various demigods they offer prayers, Daksha and Lord Shiva and various devotees, various demigods offering prayers. So there are many prayers in this. So we'll begin with the translation first. Yes. Who has the mic?
The sage Maitreya said, O mighty armed Vidura, Lord Shiva, being thus pacified by the words of Lord Brahma, spoke as follows in answer to Lord Brahma's request.
So after the prayers of Lord Brahma, now Lord Shiva will speak. Yeah, second.
Lord Shiva said, My dear father Brahma, I do not mind the offenses created by demigods. Because these demigods are childish and less intelligent, I do not take a serious view of their offenses, and I have punished them only in order to right them.
Hmm. Next.
Lord Shiva continued, since the head of Daksha has already been burned to ashes, he will have the head of a goat. The demigod known as Bhaga will be able to see his share of sacrifice through the eyes of Mitra.
So here Vishwanath Chakra Thakur writes that Daksha would get the head of goat because he had the intelligence of a goat. Bhaga got the eyes of Mitra since his eyes were contaminated with fault. He could enjoy his portion of sacrifice with those eyes only because his eyes were devoid of spiritual vision. So when his Daksha's head was cut off, then Bhaga's eyes were plucked out, then Pusha's teeth were broken, and fourth is Bhrigu's mustache or beard, sometimes mustache, sometimes beard, it's given. So whatever was taken out. So four of them mainly were injured. So here he says because Daksha has the intelligence of goat, he will get the goat's head. Okay, fourth.
The demigod Pusha will be able to chew only through the teeth of his disciples. And if alone, he will have to satisfy himself by eating dough made from chickpea flour. But the demigods who have agreed to give me my share of the sacrifice will recover from all their injuries.
Mhm. Chickpea flour is besan? Huh? Huh? Eating dough made from chickpea flour. So Pusha's teeth were broken. So here again Vishwa Chakra Thakur writes, let Pusha alone eat ground meal. You know what is ground meal? If others are present, he can eat through their teeth. Huh? Ground. Since he should not have teeth, having shown his teeth at the devotees and laughed at them, because he was showing teeth when Daksha was criticizing Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva actually revives back those who actually were not participating in criticizing him fully. But those who criticized and supported Daksha, they were only partially revived. It's like this Pusha and this Bhaga, like that. But others who didn't participate in the criticism, they were revived fully, like that. Next, fifth.
Those who have had their arms cut off will have to work with the arms of Ashwini Kumar. And those whose hands were cut off will have to do their work with the hands of Pusha. The priests will also have to act in that manner. As for Bhrigu, he will have the beard from the goat's head, goat cut.
God's head. So here in Subodhini, you can see page 58. There it's given. By Daksha have goat's head because he has intelligence of a goat. And Bhaga, his eyes, because his vision was contaminated. He will see from Mitra's eyes. And Pusha, and the demigods who agreed to give me my share, their limbs will be restored because they didn't side with Daksha. And others who, the priest and others who work with the arms of Ashwini Kumars and the hands of Pusha. Bhrigu had the mustache of a goat because he was the chief advisor of Daksha. You see, in the Subodhini. So he only partially revived, means he fulfilled request of Brahma partially. Means he didn't revived fully the demigods, those who actually are part of the criticism. The purport, okay, I will read. See this. It appears, second line, from second line you can read. This. It appears.
It appears from the exchange of Daksha's head that the modern scientific theory that the brain substance is the cause of all intelligent work is not valid. The brain substance of Daksha and that of a goat are different, but Daksha still acted like himself, even though his head was replaced by that of a goat. The conclusion is that it is the particular consciousness of an individual soul which acts. The brain substance is only an instrument which has nothing to do with real intelligence.
So the intelligence is not in a brain. Even if he had a goat's brain, he was acting like Daksha only. So Prabhupada is taking opportunity to smash scientists here, where the brain is just a gross substance, but the intelligence is subtle, which can act through anything, even if the brain may not be there. Some case was there, where the inside the skull there was only liquid or something, but still that person was acting in a device. Something it comes that there is hardly any brain, there is all liquid inside, but that person is acting very nicely, properly. So the subtle intelligence is working. The gross instrument may not be present, but the subtle, the sense is present, so he can act normally. So that's what Prabhupada says here. Although he had a goat's head, he was acting normally. Yeah. Sixth.
The great
Conscience.
sage Maitreya said, "My dear Vidura, all the personalities present were very much satisfied in heart and soul upon hearing the words of Lord Shiva, who is the best among the benedictors."
Next, seventh.
Thereafter, Bhrigu, the chief of the great sages, invited Lord Shiva to come to the sacrificial arena. Thus, the demigods, accompanied by the sages, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, all went to the place where the great sacrifice was being performed.
Next.
After everything was executed exactly as directed by Lord Shiva, Daksha's body was joined to the head of the animal meant to be killed in the sacrifice.
Next.
When the animal's head was fixed on the body of King Daksha, Daksha was immediately brought to consciousness. And as he awakened from sleep, the king saw Lord Shiva standing before him.
Next.
At that time, when Daksha saw Lord Shiva, who rides upon a bull, his heart, which was polluted by envy of Lord Shiva, was immediately cleansed, just as the water in a lake is cleansed by autumn rains.
Next. 11th.
King Daksha wanted to offer prayers to Lord Shiva, but as he remembered the ill-fated death of his daughter Sati, his eyes filled with tears, and in bereavement his voice choked up, and he could not say anything.
So now you can think of Daksha's situation. How he must be feeling now. He has a goat's head. He had bore such an insult, and then he's remembering Sati committed suicide, and I didn't stop her. She's gone. And now Lord Shiva, he is seeing in front of him. And now there are tears in his eyes. Daksha is crying, and he wanted to speak, but he is not able to speak because of the choked emotions. So we can see in this, again, Chaitanya was telling in this case, that how this material world makes everyone cry. This is a place of crying people. Material nature makes sure that everybody cries here. However, one may be very well-to-do, opulent, whatever he may be, in life, one will have to cry for something. So material nature will not leave anybody. So how many of you experience of crying? Not in the childhood, in the youth, some pain or something happened and cry. Is it not? Many of us have. There's such situations come in life that we cry. So material nature is so cruel that everybody has to cry. So Daksha was taught a very hard lesson, and now in his situation he is crying. His emotions are choked and he is not able to speak. So such situations happen so in this world, because this world is meant like that. Once I was traveling in a bus. I was coming from Pandharpur to Pune. So I remember this, in front of my seat there were one couple sitting, young couple, husband, wife. And they had a small child, maybe 4 or 5 years old. So when the bus started, something happened between them and they started quarreling, both of them, husband, wife. and it was like so hot, quarrel, bitter quarrel. They're quarreling against you, did like this, that, something. They're quarreling, and the child was so confused, actually, looking at, and the child then just told to his papa, please stop. Like, see, please, your father is not ready. He's speaking, the wife is speaking, they're fighting. And then the child was so confused, so depressed, so disheartened. So and then he looked behind at me. I was sitting behind. And when he was looking in my eyes, suddenly he started crying. Seeing him crying, I felt like crying, because his situation is like, I was trying to put myself in his situation. How he must be feeling. Mother, father, like they are for him worshipable, both of them, and they are fighting so bitterly, not ready to stop at all. And seeing at me behind you, so that time I was feeling maternal nature is so cruel. Everybody has to cry. Everybody is made to cry, whether it's child or grown up or old person. Some things happen in life that everybody has to cry. Hmm. So this material world is a crazy world. Chaitanya Chandra said, this world is a crazy world. Hmm. Suddenly something happens, such a tragedy happens, something happens, and one is, so much put in misery, he cries sometimes. Just like in Ramayana, you see, it's full of crying. Ramayana. Mm. So there is Karuna Ras in that. Ramayana is full of Karuna Ras. Mm. So this material world is also full of Karuna Ras. Mhm. Such things happen suddenly that we are choked up with emotions. Mm. Just like here, Daksha we see. Mm. So even Chaitanya was saying that when his mother, and he was there, so his mother had got cancer, and then he had taken her to the hospital, and then they had suggested this what is chemotherapy. Chemotherapy and radiotherapy, na? Both are there, where they put some heavy chemicals, and the radiation, heavy radioactive radiations are put on the that part of the body where the cancer is there. So so much so she was on that therapy that her hairs were removed completely, and then her face was swollen fully. It had become red. Such chemicals they put, such strong chemicals. They want to kill that cancer cells, but because of that, the body also had such effects. And then after, of course, later, because of such painful death she had, so Emperor was telling that how she was crying in those final days so much. It was so painful, and he had to see that. I was telling so. So even like Gaurang Guru also telling his father in the final days, he had some disease, I don't know, but it was so painful death for him. He was like, shaking his hands and throwing his hands and legs, like it was so painful. So he had to see that practically. So for that person also, it's so miserable, and for somebody who is seeing that, he cannot do as a son, or so he cannot do anything. He, for him, is more all the more painful. So like that situations come in life that we have to cry. So that's why this world is a place of crying, and how to solve this problem of crying is get out of this world. That is the only solution. There is no other solution. One more devotee is there actually. I mean, one boy who is in Karwar. He sometimes come. So he was telling his some months back, he his parents stay there at the village, and they were mother, father is like paralyzed completely, and he's on the bed. Mother does something and work. So, and he has one brother who stays there nearby only. So one day this brother came to mother and was asking some money. So mother said, because this brother had all the bad habits, so drinking and like, so mother denied. She said he will not give. And then later when he went home, that son, which his brother, this devotee's brother, he went home, which was nearby only. And in night he came when mother was sleeping. And when mother was sleeping, he brought a big stone with him, and he hit her on the head only. And she almost like she was taken to hospital, or like she died after some time. It was so painful of this devotee was like crying for days together. He said, how this fellow can do like that? मदर खुद के मदर को, and such a ghastly murder. big stone when she was sleeping. So like that, it's like such horrible things can happen, and this world is like a crazy world, you know. So everybody will be made to cry. So like this bro just telling that the only solution is get out as soon as possible. Perfect our lives and don't come back here. You know, so tears came in Daksha's eyes, and he was choked up. He couldn't say anything. But after some time, he controls himself, and then there are some prayers he offers to Lord Shiva. 12th verse. 12th translation.
At this time, King Daksha, afflicted by love and affection, was very much awakened to his real senses. With great endeavor, he pacified his mind, checked his feelings, and with pure consciousness began to offer prayers to Lord Shiva.
Next.
There is transformation in his heart. But how is it that later again he offered to?
Yeah, there it will come ahead. If you see those prayers, na, which starts from 25th verse, if it is in Subodhini, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that each one who is praying also to the Lord, and he is actually criticizing somebody. So in that Daksha, when he is praying, when Lord appears later, he has some envy towards Lord Shiva. So he is indirectly actually, he is praying, but indirectly he is condemning Lord Shiva also. So although he prayed and he cried, but some trace was remaining, and that only led to later offense towards Narad Muni. Somewhat was remaining. Although here it appears like that, but if you see Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's purport, and in the Subodhini, it's this table is there. You see on the page 60, which we'll see. All these prayers are there by different people, but they, along with the prayer, they are, you know, condemning somebody side by side with second meaning. Like that. So Daksha also condemns Lord Shiva there. So I don't know that some trace remained. That led to the second offense, like that. 13th translation.
King Daksha said, "My dear Lord Shiva, I committed a great offense against you, but you are so kind that instead of withdrawing your mercy, you have done me a great favor by punishing me. You and Lord Vishnu never neglect even useless, unqualified Brahmanas. Why then should you neglect me, who am engaged in performing sacrifices?"
Next.
Dear great and powerful Lord Shiva, you were created first from the mouth of Lord Brahma in order to protect the Brahmanas in pursuing education, austerity, vows, and self realization. As a protector of the Brahmanas, you always protect the regulative principles they follow, just as a cowherd boy keeps a stick in his hand to give protection to cows.
These are the prayers. Yeah. Next. Translation. 15th.
I did not know your full glories. For this reason, I threw arrows of sharp words at you in the open assembly. Although you did not take them into account, I was going down to hell because of my disobedience to you, who are the most respectable personality. But you took compassion upon me and saved me by avoiding punishment. I request that you be pleased by your own mercy, since I cannot satisfy you by my words.
Next.
The great sage Maitreya said, "Thus being pardoned by Lord Shiva, King Daksha, with the permission of Lord Brahma, again began the performance of the yajna, along with the great learned sages, the priest and others."
Now the yajna began. Yes, our Lord will appear. Next.
Thereafter, in order to resume the activities of sacrifice, the Brahmanas was arranged to purify the sacrificial arena of the contamination caused by the touch of Virabhadra and the other ghostly followers of Lord Shiva. Then they arranged to offer into the fire the oblations known as Puru Daksha.
No. Next. Because the area was contaminated by Virabhadra and others, so purification was done. 18th.
Great sage Maitreya said to Vidura, "My dear Vidura, as soon as the king Daksha offered the clarified butter with Yajurveda mantras, that sanctified meditation, Lord Vishnu appeared there in his original form as Narayana."
So Lord appeared there immediately when he offered the oblations. So we see Daksha actually got 2 times darshan. One is here, and later in the another Manvantara, when he, in the 6th Manvantara, when he came, that time also Lord appears. So 2 times. There also he offers prayers, no? Hamsa Guhya prayers. So he gets darshan twice, but still that offensive mentality doesn't go. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That is only offense, because Dhruv Maharaj didn't commit any offense. That was like he committed offense against great Vaishnava, Lord Shiva. And that also some traces remained. So second offense. So two offense. So although he got twice darshan, he was still not fully purified. Some purification might be there, but not like Dhruv Maharaj purification. Dhruv Maharaj's case, we don't hear any offense he has committed. That is Vishnu Chakur Thakur writes only because of offense. That was the case. Yeah, next.
Lord Narayana was seated on the shoulder of Stotra or Garuda, who had big wings. As soon as the Lord appeared, all directions were illuminated, diminishing the luster of Brahma and the others present.
Next, 20th. Lord's beauty is described.
His complexion was blackish, his garment yellow like gold, and his helmet as dazzling as the sun. His hair was bluish, the color of black bees, and his face was decorated with earrings. His 8 hands held a conch shell, wheel, club, lotus flower, arrow, bow, shield, and sword, and they were decorated with golden ornaments such as bangles and bracelets. His whole body resembled a blossoming tree, beautifully decorated with various kinds of flowers.
Some first paragraph you can read of the purport.
The face of Lord Vishnu, as described in this verse, appears like a lotus flower with bees humming over it. All of the ornaments on the body of Lord Vishnu resemble molten gold of the reddish gold color or of morning sunrise. The Lord appears just as the morning sun rises to protect the whole universal creation. His arms display different weapons, and his 8 hands are compared to the 8 petals of a lotus flower. All the weapons mentioned are for the protection of his devotees.
Yeah. So Lord's beauty is described. So whenever Lord appears in the pages of Bhagavatam, that time Shukdev Goswami doesn't just go ahead. What he will do, he'll describe the beauty of the Lord immediately. So it never happens that Lord has appeared and Shukdev Goswami say, okay, then Lord appeared and Lord said like that, others prayer. There will be few verses which describes the Lord's beauty. So which other places you find in Bhagavatam where Lord has appeared and Shukdev Goswami has described the beauty of the Lord? When Lord appears to Karda Muni, there the beauty of the Lord is described. Yes. Where else? Dhruva Maharaj. Yeah. So there also, yeah, when Dhruva Maharaj is meditating and suddenly the form of the Lord disappears. Dhruva Maharaj sees, and yeah, there also beauty of the Lord is described. Where else? Prachetas, yeah, inside the water after 10,000 years of tapasya. There also beauty of the Lord is described. Where else? 4 Kumaras, when they take darshan of the Lord, and the fragrance of the tulsi. Yes. Where else? Gajendra Moksha. Okay, when Lord appears to save him that time. Any other place? Krishna enters Dwarka. First canto. There only. Ah, yes. Yeah. So like that, wherever Lord appears, Shukdev Goswami will not go ahead like that. He will describe each part how, and compare with different analogy, upama, how Lord's beauty is there. So Jiva Goswami, he tells about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Mahaprabhu when he appeared, we say that generally he Sangopangastra Parshadam, Astra of, what was the Astra which Lord Chaitanya brought? Generally we say that Hare Krishna Mahamantra and Yuga Dharma, but Jiva Goswami says beauty. Beauty was the Astra of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But just by his beauty, he would transform people's heart like that. So Lord's just beauty is such so wonderful that immediately the person becomes a devotee. So it is one poet says, Lord Ram is so beautiful. Lord Ram is so beautiful, just like a emerald. Emerald, you know, is of which color? Green. So his Lord Ram's body is as beautiful as emerald. Then he says, no, emerald not. His body is as beautiful as a fresh, tender leaf. This is not. His Lord Ram's beauty is as beautiful as the Durva grass. And he says, Lord Ram is as beautiful as Lord Ram himself. There is no comparison. So many comparisons are there, but some fault is there in that. So Lord Ram's beauty can be compared with Lord Ram's beauty, like that. So there are different types of precious stones, just like emerald compared to Lord Ram. Then Lord Krishna's color is compared to, it's called sapphire. Sapphire is blue, like that. And sometimes there is in Bhagavatam only, Lord is compared to the gold testing stone. In Bhagavatam it comes somewhere. What is gold testing stone? I never heard. Lord's beauty is compared to the gold testing stone. So I was searching, what is this gold testing stone? So gold testing stone is when you go to jewelry shop, or so they have this. So if you want to test whether the gold is real or not, there is a black stone. It's quite costly. Black stone like this, in like size of brick or like that, completely black. So if you want to test whether the gold is real or not, so you take the metal and put a scratch on that stone. When you put a scratch, a golden line is made. And when there is some acid, nitric acid, if you put on that, if the gold, that color dissolves in that acid, then it is not gold. If it doesn't dissolve in that acid, then that substance is gold. So like that gold testing stone is used. So why Lord's body is compared to gold testing stone? No, black. And that's why, because that is like gold strip on Lord's body is that Lakshmi where she resides. So that is like gold. So black is background, and on that is a gold line. So that's why it's compared to gold testing stone, like that. So various upma or analogies are given for Lord's beauty. It is said that even when Ravana first time saw Lord Ram, he actually fainted seeing Lord Ram's beauty. They said, Lord Ram was so beautiful. The Shikshashtam Guru says that. Even Kaliya, when he saw Lord Krishna first time, although he was so envious, he becomes charmed by Krishna's beauty when he sees Krishna first time. But his envy is so powerful, it overcomes. So which are the analogies which are given for Lord's, if we see, Lord's teeth, Lord's nose, eyes. What are the analogies given? Like Lord eyes are like lotus petal. Then nose is like sesame flower, right? No, sesame flower. And then teeth are compared to jasmine buds. Lips, bimba fruit. What else? Then is conch shell. Yeah. Lotus. All parts can be compared to lotus. And face is like moon. Moon also compared like that. So, so Lord's beauty is, so we will see a small video of Lord's beauty. Small, then we'll go ahead. How Lord is so beautiful. It's a description of the verse Brahma Pidam Natavaru, that is there. Also, Brahmaji's prayers are there. Very praise about Lord's beauty. Naumidyate abhravapuche taditambaraya. Gunjavatam saparipachalo lasanmukhaya. Vanne srije kavalavetru ishanamenu. Lakshma shriye mrudupade pashupangavaya. What also comes. And this verse is there where I'm going to go. It's a very nice verse.
Barha Pidam. Please kindly repeat. So the word Barha means a peacock. Basically means a peacock. And the word Apidam has many meanings. One prominent meaning is pain. So the translators may say, Barha plus Apidam may mean Krishna who is inflicted with pain by the peacocks of Vrindavan. Now that doesn't make sense according to rasa. Therefore, although it makes perfect sense according to grammar, it's kicked out of the window because it doesn't fit the descriptions of Brajvasis. So the Baraha here, which means a peacock, is taken as peacock feather. But then why are we saying peacock when it's peacock feather? Because he's wearing so many peacock feathers that even you see from a distance, it looks as if he's walking around with a peacock on his head. His head is filled with peacock feathers. So it's as good as holding a peacock in itself on the head. So Barha means a peacock, and Apidam here, instead of pain, means a crown. So Krishna has a crown made of peacock feathers. And Sridhar Swami comments, Barhamayam Apidam Shirobhushanam Athva Barham Apidaha Yasmin. He says that Krishna has been described here, who's having a crown of peacock feathers. Now, that doesn't mean Krishna's wearing a crown, like Dwarkadish, and then has peacock feathers. No, he's in Vanyavesh. Vanyavesh means the most suitable attire for frolicking in the forests of Braj. So what that means is, he's just tucking in feathers into his hair. Locks of soft black curly hair are decorated with peacock feathers. My question is that a decoration for the hair? Or being on Krishna's hair, is that a decoration for the peacock feather? It's a decoration for the peacock feather. Because Srila Jiva Goswami says, Param Padam Bhushana Bhushanangam. That Krishna's ornaments don't ornate him. When Krishna wears ornaments, his limbs decorate those ornaments. We put on ornaments in this world and attractive garments in this world to make ourselves look beautiful and attractive. But when Krishna holds on to them, their beauty increases by Krishna's beauty. So why is Krishna wearing a peacock feather? We see everywhere we go, he has a peacock feather. Very beautiful peacock feather. In fact, if you go to any artistic store, abstract painting especially, sometimes some of these paintings, you don't even fathom what's happening. At least for fools like me, because I have no clue of art and craft. So I'll just walk into that museum and, well, it's good. They just threw some colors and had a nice time. And I'll see the price tag, $500,000. Interesting. So it's abstract. You have no clue what's happening. But any person, if he walks into that store and sees on a big canvas, peacock feather with a flute, nothing else, you know that's Krishna. You don't need any other description. You don't even have to show Braj. You don't have to show the cows. You don't even have to show Mother Yashoda or Balaram or Srimati Radharani. Just show a peacock feather with a flute. That's it. So the question is, how is it and why is it that the peacock feather has been given so much importance? It's not a pigeon feather. It's not it's not feather from any other bird. But why a peacock feather? Our acharyas describe very beautifully. Brindavanam sakhi bhuvo vitanoti kirtim Yaddevaki sutapadambujalabbdha lakshmi Govinda venur anumatta mayura nrityam. They give a reason why. They say that Krishna's form is actually a rain cloud. Krishna's form is a rain cloud. How is rain cloud formed? Well, water cycle. The water from the ocean forms cloud. So what does that mean? The ocean here is Krishna's mercy. When all of Krishna's mercy condenses together its form, that is the rain cloud of Krishna's form, filled with mercy from head to toe. Because he's Karuna Sindhu, he's an ocean of mercy. And when that evaporates, seeing the distress of fallen conditioned souls, then a very beautiful form, eternal form, not that it's formed, but it's an eternal form, cloud form, filled with mercy. At the same time, the cloud pours in water, which is nectar. What does Krishna pour in? He showers nectar in the form of his glancing, in the form of his flute playing, in the form of his dancing, and moving with the gait of an intoxicated, proud, mad elephant. Rupa Goswami describes, Karena venu ranjitam gati karindra ganjitam dukula pita shobhanam namami nanda nandanam. I bow down to that son of Nanda Maharaj, Karena venu ranjitam, who holds a flute with so much pride in his hand because he knows he can conquer the whole creation with that flute. Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says, Tri Jagan Manas Akarshi. Tri Jagan means three universes, upper, middle, and lower. And Manas means heart, mind. Akarshi means Akarshanam, attraction. With his flute, he can attract everyone. Karena Venu Ranjitam Gati Karindra Ganjitam. He has the walking of a proud, intoxicated, mad elephant, but a baby elephant. Moving around his trunk, trying to test everything, the whole forest of Brindadevi, to see, smell all the flowers, eat all the fruits, jump through all the branches. There's not a single fruit Krishna has not eaten in Braj. There's not a single branch he has not touched. In fact, it's described that trees are so intoxicated when this baby mad elephant walks, that they're standing straight. But when he walks into their forest, they hold out their branch low to touch him. And sometimes some trees are so naughty, they just almost offer obeisances. So then Krishna has to use his baby hands to move the branch of the tree and walk, and the tree has ecstatic symptoms. Hair on the body of the tree stands on end in the form of blossomed fruits and flowers. And the tree starts crying when there is honey drops and dew drops. And at the same time, the tree in happiness starts shaking. Externally, it seems as if it's the breeze, but the tree is moving intoxicated. My Krishna has touched me. And at the same time, by the weight of the fruits, the tree is bowing down, but not by the weight of the fruits. Externally, it seems like that. He's offering obeisances to Krishna. Thank you so much for coming into my forest. Krishna, we wish we were birds and animals. We could follow you where you go. But unfortunately, we are trees. Sthavara are movable. Sthavara and Sthavara, sthita, in one place. The animals are moving. The birds are flying. They make a plan. Where is Krishna going? We will go there. The baby calves are jumping and frolicking with Krishna and Balaram. But the trees, alas, alas, are standing with your hands raised, waiting. We can go to Krishna, but we can only pray. When will that day come when Krishna will enter our forest? 12 forests in Braj. Every tree is thinking, when will Krishna come to my forest? And when he comes into my forest, when will he come close to me and pick my flower and my fruit and touch my branch? This is why when Krishna comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to pay debt back to the trees, he says, Taroriva Sahishnuna. Learn to tolerate my separation like the trees of Vrindavan do. Externally, the trees tolerate heat and cold, and you slash them with an axe and they still give you shade, etc. But internally, in the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Bhava Dhyuti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. From the heart of Srimati Radharani, why are the trees
So, little beauty of Krishna description. So many verses are there like that. This verse comes in Gopis singing, no? Varhapedam. Yeah. So here also description of Lord's beauty is there. described. Next verse is also there, describing the beauty of the Lord. Yes, 21st.
Lord Vishnu looked extraordinarily beautiful because the goddess of fortune and a garland were situated on his chest. His face was beautifully decorated with a smiling attitude which can captivate the entire world, especially the devotees. Fans of white hair appeared on both sides of the Lord like white swans, and the white canopy overhead looked like the moon.
Hmm. Uh, some purport also you can read.
The smiling face of Lord Vishnu is pleasing to the whole world. Not only devotees, but even non devotees are attracted by such a smile. This verse nicely describes how the sun, moon, eight petaled lotus flower, and humming black bees were represented by the fans of hair, the overhead canopy, the moving earrings on both sides of his face, and his blackish hair. Altogether accompanied by the council, wheel, club, lotus flower, bow, arrows, shield, and sword in his hands. These presented a grand and beautiful audience for Lord Vishnu, which captivated all the demigods there, including Daksha and Lord Brahma.
So yeah, Lord's beauty is described in these two verses. So now, what happens here? 22nd.
As soon as Lord Vishnu was visible, all the demigods, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the Gandharvas, and all present there immediately offered their respectful obeisances by falling down straight before him.
Next, 23rd. Next.
In the presence of the glaring effulgence of the bodily luster of Narayan, everyone else's luster faded away, and everyone stopped speaking. Fearful with awe and veneration, all present touched their hands to their heads and prepared to offer their prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adokshaja.
Next.
Although the mental scope of even demigods like Brahma was unable to comprehend the unlimited glories of Supreme Lord, they were all able to perceive the transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by His grace. Only by such grace could they offer their respectful prayers according to their different capacities.
So Prabhupada writes in the purport, the Supreme Lord, personality of God, is always unlimited, and his glories cannot be completely enumerated by anyone, even by personalities like Lord Brahma. And even Ananta Shesh is trying with his unlimited mouths to glorify Lord, but he cannot fully glorify. So like that, now the prayers are offered by different demigods. So from 26 to 47, there are different various prayers. If you see the Subodhini, page 60, their prayers are offered by Daksha, the priest, assembly members, Lord Shiva, Bhrigu. Yeah? And they have another meaning also. If you see that, comments, criticism. Along with the prayer, they are criticizing also somebody else. So these prayers, by the grace of the Lord, one could offer prayers. So just like the sky is unlimited, but the bird can fly till the height it can fly. So prayers we cannot describe Lord fully, but at least we can describe whatever we can to purify ourselves. So as the scripture says, there are three types of prayers. Which are the three types of prayers? Dainya Bodhika, Samprarthanatmika, and Lalsamai. So again, this Chaitanya was telling, these prayers are very, very important. The sequence also, he was telling. So just like a beggar, when he is begging, so if you observe a real beggar, how he begs. So when you go in a railway station or somewhere, so the beggar who is a real, genuine beggar, so how he begs, I observed, how, what he will do, begging, how he begs. Bhagwan ke naam. No, a genuine beggar who follows the process, standard process. Yeah. What he says, You all have experience of meeting the beggars. Hmm? दो दिन से खाया नहीं. Hmm? So this again, I am just repeating what Chaitanya was saying. A real beggar, what he does, he will come first, and first he will glorify you. Hmm? तुम बड़े साहब हैं, तुम्हारे पास गाड़ी है ये. Hmm? And then second is, मैं 2 दिन से भूखा हूँ, कुछ खाया नहीं. And third thing is, कुछ तो पैसे दे दो. So 3 steps are there. First is some prarthanatmika, second is दैन्य bodhika, and third is lalsamai. So first he will praise, कि आप इतना बड़े हो, बड़े साहब हैं, गाड़ी वगैरह है आपके पास, और मेरे पास कुछ नहीं, मैं भूखा हूँ, 2 दिन से खाया नहीं. That is दैन्य bodhika. I am so fallen. Amar Jivan Sada Papirat. So that is दैन्य bodhika. And lalsam is then please give something. So this is real begging. So we should learn the art of begging. So first, when generally we should pray and glorify the Lord. So how Lord is so great. Lord is so great. And that is some prarthanatmika, glorifying the Lord. And then how fallen I am, that is Danya Bodhika. And then please give something, some benediction, that is Lalasamai. So this is the procedure for begging. So this is very scientific. So you should remember how which come first, second, and third. Generally, directly we go and we don't ask Lalsamai, ye de do immediately. First we should glorify the Lord. Glorify the beauty of the Lord, glorify the greatness of the Lord, and then describe how fallen I am. And then third is then ask some benediction, lalasamai. So like that, that is a real beggar who asks. And again, he was telling prayers. Generally, prayers, what happens when prayers come in Bhagavatam, we try to little bit go fast. Prayers, prayers आगे चलो आगे किधर तक है prayers generally. So he is telling that actually prayers are the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'll give an example. Just like in milk, like we drink milk in the evening, ashram. So when the milk is kept, hot milk for some time, then what happens after some time? You see, the cream comes up. So if somebody comes and the cream is the actually the essence of the milk, but somebody who he comes and what they do, वो सब बाजू को निकाल देते क्रीम और मिल्क लेते. I don't understand why they साइड में निकाल के वो मिल्क चाहिए, हमको क्रीम नहीं चाहिए. But it is like this prayers are like the cream of Bhagavatam, which comes prayer हम साइड में निकाले, ये नहीं चाहिए, ये prayers नहीं, दूसरा. We want the milk only, but the essence of whole Bhagavatam is prayers. So we should not that we should take cream. Cream is very nice, but some people don't like the cream. Cream बाजू को हटा के milk लेते. So prayers are like that. So we should actually, because the prayers are the hearts of great devotees and they have prayed, so it has a lot of devotion. So we can also get by that reading those prayers. And of course, the best, Srila Prabhupada would say, what is the best prayer? That is there. No. Answer is no. What Prabhupada said. Prabhupada said, the best prayer is, Prabhupada would say, that, oh Lord, please give me strength to serve you. This Prabhupada would say. Please give me strength. Please give me strength to serve you. This is exact words, what Chaitanya said. Yeah. Hare Krishna is please engage me in your service. Exactly. So this is the prayer which he would say, the best prayer. And of course, Hare Krishna is also best prayer only. There can be many best in spiritual life. So yesterday we were hearing our Tutu Prabhu after 4 o'clock here, 3 o'clock he was giving class. He told very nice pastime yesterday. So I was telling about Akinchan Krishna's Babaji Maharaj. So he had so much taste for holy name. He would always chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So when he was actually, I heard he said when he passed away, and another place I had heard when he was sick. One place. So that time Vaidya was called, and he had put some instrument to hear stethoscope to hear or how is the heartbeat, what is happening. So that time he heard Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Can you imagine? Hare Krishna mantra. Heartbeat, he didn't hear the heartbeat. He only heard the Hare Krishna beating inside. A real incidence. So much he had taste. So that is, of course, the best prayer only. But our heart doesn't beat with that. Heart mein alag awaaz aata. Some other sounds will come. Whatever our desires are there. So better we don't show. Doctor will be surprised. Somebody's grandfather, he said, na? Somebody's grandfather passed away saying paneer. He must have gone to Paneer Loka. Where there is abundant paneer. But about Akinchan Krishna's Babaji Maharaj, he said when he left the body, like that he said, na? He left. Other place I heard when he was sick. So I don't know. But this is true. He heard. The doctor heard. Okay. So we will have a small break. Then the prayers will start. The prayers will go not fast. We'll go a little slowly. But we'll complete today. Some announcements are there. These are some announcement. Then we'll take a break. Hare Krishna. We completed till 25th, 24 we have completed. Sorry. 24 we completed. From 25 we have to start, right? 26. Yes, who has the mic?
When Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu accepted the oblations offered in the sacrifice, Daksha, the Prajapati, began with great pleasure to offer respectful prayers unto him. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually the master of all sacrifices and preceptor of all the Prajapatis. And he is served even by such personalities as Nanda and Sunanda.
Next.
Daksha addressed the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My dear Lord, you are transcendental to all speculative positions. You are completely spiritual, devoid of all fear, and you are always in control of the material energy. Even though you appear in the material energy, you are situated transcendentally. You are always free from material contaminations because you are completely self-sufficient.
So you can open Subodhini simultaneous. How many of you have Subodhini? Yeah, nobody. Subodhini line.
बताए नहीं.
Huh? Soft copy. I don't know. Actually, because Vishnu Chakra Thakur gives each prayer, whom what they like here for the Daksha 26, this prayer, he is criticizing Lord Shiva. So what he is saying, you alone, this is telling to the Lord, you alone are the Lord and take the covering of knowledge. Others taking coverings of ignorance like Lord Shiva, though playing human roles, do not know how to act. That is Daksha's hidden meaning. So like that, each one is actually addressing like that. Each prayer is like that. Vishnu Chakra Thakur gives. Okay, 27th. Next.
The
Priests addressed the Lord, saying, O Lord, transcendental to material contamination, by the curse offered by Lord Shiva's men, we have become attached to fruity activities, and thus we are now fallen and therefore do not know anything about you. On the contrary, we are now involved in the injunctions of the three departments of Vedic knowledge under the plea of executing rituals in the name of Yajna. We know that you have made arrangements for distributing the respective shares of the demigods.
So these priests are praying Ritvij. They are praying, but indirectly, what did they? They look at Daksha. They glance at Daksha while this prayer is going, and they say, "What do you know? How how can Daksha know you?" Means they are saying what you will know about Lord. They are indirectly looking at Daksha and saying this. So this is addressed to Daksha also. So in short, they are criticizing Daksha in this prayer. Priests. 28th.
The members of the assembly addressed the Lord, O exclusive shelter for all who are situated in troubled life. In this formidable fort of conditional existence, the time element, like a snake, is always looking for an opportunity to strike. This world is full of ditches of so-called distress and happiness, and there are many ferocious animals always ready to attack. The fire of lamentation is always blazing, and the mirage of false happiness is always alluring. But one has no shelter from them. Thus, foolish persons live in the cycle of birth and death, always overburdened in discharging their so-called duties, and we do not know when they will accept the shelter of your lotus feet.
So these assembly members, Sadasya, others. So they are praying to the Lord. Simultaneously, they are criticizing Daksha. What they are saying? If Daksha does not surrender to you, then what can you do? He is thirsty for material sense objects. So like that is their hidden meaning, which they are saying along with these prayers. Or acharyas know what their heart is, that is given. Great. What is going on in their mind, although they are praying to Lord. 29th. Mike.
Lord Shiva said, My dear Lord, my mind and consciousness are always fixed on your lotus feet, which as the source of all benedictions and the fulfillment of all desires are worshipped by all liberated great sages, because your lotus feet are worthy of worship. With my mind fixed on your lotus feet, I am no longer disturbed by persons who blaspheme me, claiming that my activities are not purified. I do not mind their accusations, and I excuse them out of compassion, just as we exhibit compassion towards all living entities.
So here Lord Shiva is praying, but indirectly, now again he is also criticizing Daksha. So what is in his mind? The Lord Shiva, while praying, is thinking, my mind was fixed in your lotus feet. Those who do not have knowledge, just like this Daksha, say that I have broken the rules of good conduct by not standing. So he doesn't know that I was meditating, and he is saying I have broken the conduct. I hadn't offered obeisances. So that is his hidden meaning in criticizing Daksha. Huh? Vishwanath Chakra Thakur is telling what is going on in the minds while they are praying. So they are not like full prayers, like pure prayers, but they have some hidden meaning also. Yeah, 30th.
Sri Bhrigu said, My dear Lord, all living entities beginning from the highest, namely Lord Brahma, down to the ordinary ant, are under the influence of the insurmountable spell of illusory energy, and thus they are ignorant of their constitutional position. Everyone believes in the concept of the body, and all are thus submerged in the darkness of illusion. They are actually unable to understand how you live in every living entity as the super soul, nor can they understand your absolute position. But you are the eternal friend and protector of all the surrendered souls. Therefore, please be kind towards us and forgive all our offenses.
Few lines you can leave, purport.
Bhrigumuni was conscious of the scandalous behavior exhibited by each and every one of them, including Brahma and Lord Shiva in the sacrificial ceremony of Daksha. By mentioning Brahma, the chief of all living entities within this material world, he wanted to state that everyone, including also Brahma and Lord Shiva, is under the concept of the body and under the spell of material energy, all but Vishnu.
So he is now Bhrigumuni, he is praying, but what he means, another meaning is, even now Brahma and Lord Shiva does not know the truth about you, but ignorantly they are saying, I know. So they don't know about you, Brahma and Lord Shiva, but they ignorantly are saying, I know about you. So that is Bhrigu's hidden meaning. 31st.
Lord Brahma said, My dear Lord, your personality and eternal form cannot be understood by any person who is trying to know you through the different processes of acquiring knowledge. Your position is always transcendental to the material creation, whereas the empiric attempt to understand you is material, as are its objectives and instruments.
So now Brahma is praying to the Lord, and now he is now condemning Bhrigu. Because in previous verse, Bhrigu condemned Brahma. So now Brahma is what he is saying, indirect meaning. How can people like Bhrigu, who have taken shelter of material senses, see your form? That's what Brahma is saying. So Bhrigu is condemning Brahma, Brahma criticizing, and Lord is standing there. They are praying to the Lord also, but in the mind they have another meaning. Amazing. 30 seconds now, Indra.
King Indra said, My dear Lord, your transcendental form with 8 hands and weapons in each of them appears for the welfare of the entire universe, and it is very pleasing to the mind and eyes. In such a form, your lordship is always prepared to punish the demons who are envious of your duties.
So here Indra is actually criticizing Lord Brahma indirectly. So that is given. Thanks. 33.
The wives of the performers of the sacrifice said, My dear Lord, this sacrifice was arranged under the instruction of Brahma, but unfortunately, Lord Shiva, being angry at Daksha, devastated the entire scene, and because of his anger, the animals meant for sacrifice are lying dead. Therefore, the preparations of the yajna have been lost. Now, by the glance of your lotus eyes, the sanctity of this sacrificial arena may be again invoked.
Yeah. 34.
The sages prayed, Dear Lord, your activities are most wonderful, and although you do everything by your different potencies, you are not at all attached to such activities. You are not even attached to the goddess of fortune, who is worshipped by the great demigods like Brahma, who pray to achieve her mercy.
Yeah, so sages are praying, and they are criticizing Brahma. All other performance like Brahma, all other performers of action are attached to the results. Brahma and others. 25th.
Sages prayed, Dear Lord, your activities are most wonderful, and although you do everything by your different potencies, you are not at all attached to.
35th.
Like an elephant that has been suffered in the forest fire, but can forget all its troubles by entering in a river. Our minds, O Lord, always merge in the nectarian river of your transcendental pastimes, and they desire never to leave such a transcendental bliss, which is as good as the pleasure of merging in the absolute.
1 minute. So here, 30. Okay. I had. Okay, read. 36. 36.
Guruji, why the transcendental pastimes are being compared to here pleasure of merging in the absolute?
35th. Just a minute. Like an elephant suffered. 35th verse you are saying?
Yes, Guruji, 35.
Like an elephant that has suffered in a forest fire but can. Oh Lord, always watching the nectarine river of actually, this will come ahead. Like Vishnu Chakra Thakur says, see, some of these, please be aware, the person speaking are actually Jnana Bhaktas, but express themselves as pure devotees. Jiva Goswami says. So some of them, the sages and great mystics, these people, they are actually Jnana Bhaktas. So they don't have complete knowledge, but they are praying as if they like pure devotees praying like that. But internally they are Jnana Bhaktas. The Jiva Goswami says. I had also 38th verse also somebody that he's saying. So not that all those prayers are like correct. उनके भाव अंदर से आ रहे. Although they are praying like they are bhaktas, but then internally they are gyanis, jnana bhaktas. So that might be the result. That's why they are comparing that. So this Jiva Goswami says, yes, 36.
The wife of Daksha prayed as follows: My dear Lord, it is very fortunate that you have appeared in this arena of sacrifice. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, and I request that you be pleased on this occasion. The sacrificial arena is not beautiful without you, just as a body is not beautiful without the head.
Next.
The governors of various planets spoke as follows: Dear Lord, we believe only in our direct perception, and therefore we see you as a creation of the material world. But under the circumstances, we do not know whether we have actually seen you with our material senses. By our material senses, we can simply perceive the cosmic manifestation, but you are beyond the five elements. You are the sixth.
We see you therefore as a creation of the material world. So yeah, 38. Next.
The great mystic said, Dear Lord, persons who see you as not different from themselves, knowing that you are the super soul of all living entities, are certainly very, very dear to you. You are very favorable toward those who engage in devotional service, accepting you as the Lord and themselves as the servants. By your mercy, you are always inclined in their favor.
So here Jiva Goswami writes that some of these mystics, they are actually Jnana Bhaktas, but they express themselves as pure devotees. So like that, those prayers also. Usually in this Puthu Maharaj section also, there when these four Kumaras come and they are speaking, there also Vishnu Chakra Thakur writes, some words they speak which has impersonalist purport. Where then they see Prithu Maharaj because he's pure devotee, his face becoming ऐसा क्यों बोला इन्होंने ठीक है they see some changes in the face of Prithu Maharaj. Then they feel he is a pure devotee, he didn't like our verse which is impersonalized. Then yat pad pankaja palas vilas, that comes later, and 3-4 verses are like pure devotional service they glorify. After that they seeing the face of Prithu Maharaj, it became down hearing that verse. So like that Chatush Kumar, and they have some Navai Govindras also. They also have some taints like that. It's described. Yeah. So here also some prayers like that are seen. Okay.
We offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme, who has created varieties of manifestations and put them under the spell of the three qualities of the material world in order to create, maintain, and annihilate them. He himself is not under the control of the external energy. In his personal feature is completely devoid of the variegated manifestation of material qualities and is under no illusion of false identification.
Next.
The personality of the Vedas said, We offer our respectful obeisances unto you, the Lord, the shelter of the quality of goodness, and therefore the source of all religion, austerity, and penance. For you are transcendental to all material qualities, and no one knows you or your actual situation.
Yeah. So here what happened? Now here is Brahma Uvacha, right? Brahma Uvacha. Here, of course, Prabhupada has written, personified Vedas says. But then Sridhar Swami says that actually it's Brahma speaking again. Because what happened when Brahma spoke and then Indra criticized him, indirectly. Then Brahma again, he wanted to clarify. So again he spoke now, refuting Indra's prayers. Like that. So it's all going behind the curtain. All Lord might be understanding, ये क्या चल रहा है? But here Vishwanath Thakur Ji Goswami, Sridhar Swami also said, Brahma Uvacha. He is speaking second time, because first time when he spoke, then Indra refuted his prayers, and then again he wants to refute Indra's prayers, so Brahma spoke again. That's why Acharya is saying. So, okay, next. 41.
The fire god said, "My dear Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, because by your favor I am as luminous as blazing fire, and I accept the offerings mixed with butter and offered in sacrifice. The 5 kinds of offerings according to the Yajurveda are all your different energies, and you are worshipped by 5 kinds of Vedic hymns. Sacrifice means your supreme personality of Godhead."
Next.
The demigod said, Dear Lord, formerly when there was a devastation, you conserved all the different energies of material manifestation. At that time, all the inhabitants of the higher planets, represented by such liberated souls as Sanak, were meditating on you by philosophical speculation. You are therefore the original person, and you rest in the water of devastation on the bed of the Shesha snake. Now today, you are visible to us, who are all your servants. Please give us protection.
Next.
The Gandharvas said, Dear Lord, all the demigods, including Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Indra, and Marichi, and the great sages, are all only differentiated parts and parcels of your body. You are the Supreme Almighty Great. The whole creation is just like a plaything for you. We always accept you as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we offer our respectful obeisances unto you.
Next.
The Vidyadhara said, Dear Lord, this human form of body is meant for attaining the highest perfectional objective. But impelled by your external energy, the living entity misidentifies himself with his body and with the material energy. And therefore, influenced by Maya, he wants to become happy by material enjoyment. He is misled and always attracted by temporary, illusory happiness. But your transcendental activities are so powerful that if one engages in the hearing and chanting of such topics, he can be delivered from illusion.
So they are glorifying Krishna Katha. So they say that a materially absorbed person can reject illusion by hearing Krishna Katha. So they are criticizing the jnanis, all those who are mystic yogis and others, because they don't want to hear Krishna Katha. They are engaged in thinking of the Brahman, that which they call it illusion. So Vidyadharas are saying illusions can be rejected by serving the nectar of your topics. So this criticism is directed towards the jnanis who were present there. So Vidyadharas criticizing jnanis. Yes. 45.
The Brahmana said, Dear Lord, you are sacrifice personified. You are the offering of clarified butter. You are the fire. You are the chanting of the Vedic hymns by which the sacrifice is conducted. You are the fuel. You are the flame. You are the kusha grass. And you are the sacrificial pots. You are the priests who perform the yajna. You are the demigods headed by Indra. And you are the sacrificial animal. Everything that is sacrificed is you or your energy.
So now can you guess, the Brahmanas, they are glorifying the process of sacrifice, whom they might be criticizing indirectly in these prayers. Hmm? Followers of Lord Shiva. The obstacles to the sacrifice are these followers of Lord Shiva. So this statement is directed towards them. Brahmanas criticizing the followers of Lord Shiva, Shaivites, in this prayer. Next.
Dear Lord, O personified Vedic knowledge, in the past millennium, long ago, when you appeared as the great boar incarnation, you picked up the world from the water, as an elephant picks up a lotus flower from a lake. When you vibrated transcendental sound in that gigantic form of a bear, of a boar, the sound was accepted as a sacrificial hymn, and great sages like Sanaka meditated upon it and offered prayers for your glorification.
Actually, this purport is also important. You can read.
A significant word used in this verse is Trayigatra, which means that the transcendental form of the Lord is the Vedas. Anyone who engages in the worship of the deity or the form of the Lord in the temple is understood to be studying all the Vedas 24 hours a day. Simply by decorating the deities of the Lord, Radha and Krishna, in the temple, one very minutely studies the injunctions of the Vedas. Even a neophyte devotee who simply engages in the worship of the deity is understood to be in direct touch with the purport of Vedic knowledge. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyaha. The purport of the Vedas is to understand Him, Krishna. One who worships and serves Krishna directly has understood the truths of the Vedas.
So, one who is worshipping the Lord, for him, all the truths are revealed within. So, again, this Radhika Vallabh was only telling that this Prithu Maharaj, he is Acharya for which process? Archanam. You know? So, one who is doing Archanam, that is like here Prabhupada is saying, the service of the deities, decorating the deities, worshipping the deities. So, the Acharyas tell one who does this, like Prithu Maharaj, he naturally get taste for hearing, chanting and reading. Because then Prithu Maharaj's prayers are there. That Vidatsva Karnayutam Eshamevara. There he says that please give me millions and millions of years to hear Krishna Katha. That he has developed how? Because he did such deity worship Archanam, that because of that he got taste for hearing. So like that there he says. So like that only Prabhupada is also telling here. One who does deity worship, naturally all the purports of the Vedas, they are revealed to him. Like that. So deity worship increases the taste for reading and hearing. That's what he says. Yes, 47.
Dear Lord, we are awaiting your audience because we have been unable to perform the yajnas according to the Vedic rituals. We pray unto you, therefore, to be pleased with us. Simply by chanting your holy name, one can surpass all obstacles. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you in your presence.
Yes, next.
Sri Maitreya said, after Lord Vishnu was glorified by all present, Daksha, his consciousness purified, arranged to begin again the yajna which had been devastated by the followers of Lord Shiva.
Maitreya continued, my dear sinless Vidura, Lord Vishnu is actually the enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices. Yet, because of his being the super soul of all living entities, he was satisfied simply with his share of the sacrificial offerings. He therefore addressed Daksha in an pleasing attitude.
So here, Vishnu Chakra Thakur writes that why Vidura is called Anagha, sinless, sinless Vidura. So Vishnu Chakra Thakur says, actually Lord was not pleased because of the offense to Lord Shiva. So here Maitreya is saying to Vidura, O sinless, you are without offense. Therefore the Lord is pleased with you. You are indeed example of proper person. So that's why here Maitreya is calling Vidura as anagha, means without offense. Daksha did offense, but you have not done any offense. The Lord is pleased with you, but not with Daksha. Like that. Next.
Lord Vishnu replied, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and I are the supreme cause of the material manifestation. I am the super soul, the self sufficient witness. But impersonally, there is no difference between Brahma, Lord Shiva, and me.
Next.
The Lord continued, my dear Daksha, Dvij, I am the original personality of Godhead, but in order to create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation, I act through my material energy, and according to the different grades of activity, my representations are differently named.
Next, 52.
The Lord continued, one who is not in proper knowledge thinks that demigods like Brahma and Shiva are independent, or he even thinks that the living entities are independent.
Next.
A person with average intelligence does not think the head and other parts of the body to be separate. Similarly, my devotee does not differentiate Vishnu, the all pervading personality of Godhead, from anything or any living entity.
So here again Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given the links. When Lord Vishnu is instructing Daksha, the conversation between Vishnu and Daksha. So Lord is saying you should see non-difference between me, Brahma and Lord Shiva. But then Daksha is asking, but the Supreme Lord is only one. According to that scripture, you are that one Supreme Lord. Then how there is non-difference between you, Shiva and Brahma? Then Lord says this 51 verse that actually they are different names. I am the original person, but for creation, maintenance and destruction, I act through these three. Means through this Brahma and Shiva. Then again Daksha asks, but how is Brahma who is a Jiva and Shiva who is touched by ignorance be Ishvara, non-different from you? Then Lord says, only the ignorant see the difference. So you are ignorant. That's why you are seeing the difference. But there is no difference. The Jiva are non-different from me because they are my Tatastha Shakti. Shakti is non-different from Shaktiman. So like that, Brahma and Shiva, they are non-different. That's why Lord says. Yeah, next.
The Lord continued, one who does not consider Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, or the living entities in general to be separate from the Supreme, and who knows Brahman actually realizes peace, others do not.
So this is the result of seeing non-difference between three of us is one achieves peace, one becomes peaceful. 55.
The sage Maitreya said, thus Daksha, the head of all Prajapatis, having been nicely instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, worshipped Lord Vishnu. After worshipping him by performing the prescribed sacrificial ceremonies, Daksha separately worshipped Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva.
Next.
With all respect, Daksha worshipped Lord Shiva with his share of the remnants of the yajna. After finishing the ritualistic sacrificial activity, he satisfied all the other demigods and the other people assembled there. Then, after finishing all these duties with the priest, he took a bath and was fully satisfied.
Next.
Thus, worshipping the Supreme Lord Vishnu by the ritualistic performance of sacrifices, Daksha was completely situated on the religious path. Moreover, all the demigods who had assembled at the sacrifice blessed him that he might increase his piety, and then they left.
Yes, next.
Maitreya said, I have heard that after giving up the body she had received from Daksha, Dakshayani, his daughter, took her birth in the kingdom of Himalayas. She was born as a daughter of Mena. I heard this from authoritative source.
Meena is also known as Menaka. and is the wife of the king of Himalayas. So Parvati is daughter of Parvat. Yeah. 59.
Ambika, goddess Durga, who was known as Dakshayani Sati, again accepted Lord Shiva as her husband. Just as
Loudly
different,
read it. Volume.
just as different energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead act during the course of a new creation.
Next.
Maitreya said, My dear Vidura, I heard the story of the Daksha Yajna, which was devastated by Lord Shiva from Uddhava, a great devotee and a disciple of Brihaspati.
So this is where anybody knows when he heard, when they met first time that time, the story. In third canto they met, na? That time or other? Huh? Vidura met Uddhav, then Uddhav directs to Maitreya. So that time it happened or some other time? I couldn't find. Vishwanath Chakra Thakur and they have not given anything. Huh? In the final, when he was about to disappear that time. So, but he's saying, I heard this from Uddhav. When? Both were there together hearing from Lord. And then later when they met, okay. Miss Maitreya is saying he heard from Uddhava. Vidura, of course, met, but Maitreya meeting. Okay, 61.
The great sage Maitreya concluded, if one hears and again narrates with faith and devotion the story of the Daksha Yajna as it was conducted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, then certainly one is cleared of all contamination of material existence, O son of Kuru.
Rebo. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of 4th canto, 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Sacrifice Performed by Daksha. Rebo. So at the end, what happens? 4th canto end, which story comes? Of Prachitas. Prachitas. So at the end, what happens? When Maitreya Maitreya is speaking to Vidura, when Vidura hears this, then he says, ठीक है अभी. He gets up. कथा चल रहा है. Third, fourth canto हो गया. But now Maitreya is speaking, Vidura is hearing. Now Vidura says, अभी हो गया time, 1 बज गया. Now what happens is, actually he gets inspired by Narad Muni's preaching to the Prachitas. So he sees that how Narad Muni is so powerful. He preached to Prachini Bharis and he preached to Prachitas and he's preaching so much. By the preaching activities of Narad Muni, Vidura gets very inspired. So then he says that now I have to implement what I heard in so much, 2 cantos he has heard. So he gets up and then he wants to go and preach to Dhritarashtra. He goes and preach to Dhritarashtra because he remembers that I also have some audience to preach. So then he goes there to preach so much powerfully because 2 cantos he has heard. Na? वो सब dose अभी धृतराष्ट्र को दे देते पूरा एक दिन में. So much so that he also then leaves. It's like by Narad Muni is preaching, Prachini Bhari leave, Prachitas leave. Like that by Maitreya Muni, Vidura's preaching, Dhritarashtra also quits home. So that is the actually final conclusion of what we hear is we should implement. So Vidura was very eager to implement. He heard and he implemented. So implementation is as much important as we hear. Shravanam we hear and then Shravan, Mananam and Nidhi Dhyasanam. We hear and then we think and then Nidhi Dhyasanam is actually implement. So exactly at the end of 4th canto, Vidura implements what he heard. And then of course after that, he also leaves from Prabhashetra, Vidura, he described. So behind it, so there are announcements. Bhagavatam presentation. We don't have in Bhakti Vedanta. So Bhakti Vaibhav have. So regarding that, if they have question, they can ask Prabhuji as he is coming. Okay. So then what we do? We go to next chapter. Dhruva Maharaj leaves home for the forest. Remaining video. I had only one video. That's all. वो बचा था शायद वीडियो थोड़ा अमरेंद्र प्रभु का I stopped in between 5 minutes I think is remaining we can hear that why Lord likes peacock feather that he tells explains how that it started how he started wearing that peacock feather कितना हुआ था I think 5 मिनट आगे middle
Barha please kindly repeat. So the word Barha means a peacock. Mahaprabhu fly in a flute. It has the lightning of the dhoti and it has a V-shaped bird group tolerating. They are tolerating the separation from Krishna. So it's interesting. Krishna as the ocean of mercy has a very beautiful form which is that of a rain cloud. Now when you say his form is rain cloud, what is his dhoti? Oh, it is the yellow lightning around the rain cloud. And then what is his flute playing? It is the thundering of the cloud. And at the same time, the garland that he wears goes back and forth. Multicolored, multi-fragrant garland. That's like a group of birds flying next to the cloud. They're flying in a V. You see the birds fly in a V? So Krishna...
you can address bro you can this I have finished we're showing video so this, this is extra okay yeah
Hare Krishna. Okay, so that's the end of unit 15. 15, correct? The wonderful section on Daksha and Sati and Shiva. So first of all, we would like to express our gratitude to His Grace Sri Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu for kindly taking out so much of time to prepare and present the subject matter for the pleasure of the Vaishnavas. So very grateful for this wonderful service. And so therefore, a small token of appreciation. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So in addition to this, Yugal Sham Prabhu has called me here for some reason. So that's what he says, that you have some questions regarding the Srimad Bhagavatam classes that are going to begin from, everyone knows, no? Everyone has seen the schedule when your classes, everyone knows? Yes or no? Okay, good. So, so he says that some of you have some questions and doubts on those Srimad Bhagavatam class presentations. So if you have some. Here on. Yes. So this will be the audience. So you have got the pattern, right? How the class will go on. You sent a mail, right? So basically, so initial part will be as usual as we have a Bhagavatam class. So initially the recitation of the verse, no word-to-word meaning, recitation of the verse, translation, purport. If the purport is too long, then a part of the purport. So essentially for about 5 minutes, that will be the initial part. And then you will begin to speak your actual lecture. So that will be timed for exactly half an hour. Okay. So that is the maximum time you can speak for half an hour. Maximum time, 30 minutes, minimum time, 25 minutes. Okay, so not that I'll finish in 15 minutes. Ho gaya, ho gaya. No. Okay, so minimum time 25 minutes. And then after that, after you speak for half an hour, then you can take 1 or 2 questions. And then 1, 2 students will give feedback. And finally, I will give a feedback. Okay, so that's how the whole presentation will be for about 45 minutes. No, excluding. So after the verse recitation and all that, then the time begins. No, this is like Bhagavatam class, traditional Bhagavatam class. Yes. All Mangla Charan, Jai Radha Madhav, everything you can do wherever you want before you come here. That we will, so this is a Bhagavatam class and then there'll be a presentation, which will not be on a verse, but on a particular topic or theme. So when you do the presentation, that time you can do all that. Okay, TTC style, you can do some interactive, you can do PPT, this, that. We're not saying it's compulsory. If somebody wants to do it, he can do in the presentation. Sometime later. No, not in February. Surely not in February, but maybe after a few months. Because here we're having certain specific verses and all that. So we don't want to disturb the temple Bhagavatam class. And at the same time, it is for a specific audience and it's only they who need to ask questions, they who need to give feedback. So it's for the specific audience. So it cannot be. Any other clarifications? Which language you want to give? Kannada. Anybody has some serious challenges to give in English? So if somebody has some very serious challenges, would like to give in Hindi, it's okay. But we would also suggest that if you give in English, it'll be a good practice. But if you think it's very difficult, no problem. All right. Any other clarifications? So those who are online, what they're doing? They're going to come here or what? Who's online? So when this class is going on, the Bhakti Vaibhav class, that time they attend Bhagavatam class or no? Then why this question? Any scope for leniency the Jiva wants. That's all. That's what I told you. You know, they're all expert Bhagavatam class givers. No, there cannot be any clarification. Yes. Bro. You have seen your handbook, no? In the handbook, there's one page on what are the criteria on the basis of which the class will be assessed. You have seen in the handbook? How many of you have seen in the handbook? Only 2? Oh, he's asking an important question. How many have handbooks? Hey, you didn't tell them the page number? But in any case, so it's there in the handbook. So the most important criteria on the basis of which, so please do take some trouble to open the handbooks now at least and go through the criteria. There's a detailed criteria. Somebody's got a handbook right now? It has. The new one also has. Sure. Oh, right. They removed some pages. That's the problem. Okay, so that's why it is not. Otherwise, it should be there. But anyways, you have it in your the BV1 handbook for the module 1. The essential criteria, you can see the detail, but I'm just telling some essential criteria for on the basis of which the presentation will be assessed. First is the understanding of the subject matter, the philosophical understanding of the subject matter. And at least minimum 3 verses have to be quoted from memory. It's 3 or 5. I'm just not. Huh? Okay, but anyway, some 3 to 5 verses have to be quoted from memory, from the Bhakti Shastras. And so basically the first most important aspect of the assessment is the understanding, the philosophical understanding of the subject matter. Second important thing is preaching application, personal application, Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission. These are the most important criteria on the basis of which the presentation will be assessed. Okay, so there have to be some points for preaching application. So that means points for preaching application means that there has to be some point where one has to address some preaching aspect. To give an example, so just like in yesterday morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class, there was this purport about the influence of the material energy, how the material energy is so powerful and can influence everyone, including liberated souls. So then an important point of preaching application in that would be that how for the common materialistic people, preaching application means for materialistic people. So materialistic people, they think we can be independent, we can do anything we like, but then nobody is independent. The material energy is so powerful, it's going to influence everyone. Everyone is forced to act according to like today also Srila Prabhupada was saying in the class. So that's a preaching application point. So preaching application point means how that particular subject matter would be addressed to materialistic people. If you're giving that talk to materialistic people, that particular theme, then what could be the probable questions? Like you see in many of Prabhupada's purports, Prabhupada himself raises a question that people say this, then how it is to be answered. Then Prabhupada himself gives the answer. Very often he does in his purports. So similarly, we can raise some questions like that, how we can preach this to the people. Okay. And then personal application points, how that particular philosophical understanding could be personally practiced in one's own life. And some points of Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission. That means how that particular theme could be applied in Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission of ISKCON. Taking the same example of the power of the material energy. So therefore, ma mevai prapadyante, ma emetam taranti. So therefore, there is the ISKCON movement, so that there is preaching of devotional service, surrender to Krishna. And then how can we surrender to Krishna? By chanting the holy names, following the rules and regulations, and maintaining the mode of humility. So that's Srila Prabhupada's mode and mission. So that's how all these 4 aspects need to be addressed, essentially. Okay, so you can see this. This is page 183 of your previous handbook. So there are a few points initially for the presentation skills also. So I think so most of you have done TTC, so you know what are presentation skills. So some basic competency in speaking skills, listening skills, effective eye contact, use of resources, time management, so all those things. And then understanding. Yes, so in understanding, present an outline of a particular theme, event, or series of events from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, so if there's a particular verse, then a little bit of summarization of the theme that is going on within those series of verses. So what is the theme? What is the storyline? Some summary of that. So some depth, philosophical points, subtle nuances of meaning from the selected topic. Identify particular Sanskrit words or phrases which relate to the philosophical points presented. Okay, so from the verse, some important words can be taken and explained. Prabhupada also does that very often. He picks on certain words from the verse and then explains them, the philosophical explanation. And within understanding also comes answering questions. No, actually, we are not using. Sorry, this is actually presentation. Right, so presentation skills, understanding. So here it says, quote from memory, minimum 4 verses. Minimum 4 verses can be quoted from memory, should be quoted from memory. And then preaching or theological application, then mood and mission and personal application. So the maximum weightage is for the understanding, 30 marks are for the understanding, and then 20 for preaching application, 15 for mood and mission, personal application 10, and the speaking skills 20. So you can see on page number 110 of your handbooks, you can see. So these are the criteria on which it will be assessed. Yes, yes. It is said from the Bhakti Shastras. Bhakti Shastras means basically the Bhakti Shastri books, Bhagavatam, CC. Okay. Will Prabhupada has quoted that? That's so definitely we would like to emphasize that, yes, we in these presentations, we would like to hear most of it from Srila Prabhupada. Okay, that's our emphasis. Was that?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, could you please elaborate a little bit on Vaishnava integrity?
No, that's for the presentation. It's not within the Srimad Bhagavatam class. So what I was reading before was for the presentation. So you can see on page number 110 what is given for a Srimad Bhagavatam class.
Okay, 110. Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, fine. So thank you all very much for kindly attending. And though we already sent a reminder mail regarding attendance policies. Okay. And we do keep sending these reminders quite often. And of course, we have been coming in between to check how is the attendance. And we usually find that 11 o'clock, there is a speaker, and there are 2 very sincere devotees who come exactly on time, though they're not in the Brahmacharya ashram. So they come exactly on time. And the others keep coming slowly because anyway, there's a laxity of 15 minutes. So why come before that? So 15 minutes shoot diya gaya. So why come before that? So we'll come when 15 minutes get over, then we should come, isn't it? That is the rule. Correct? Coming before that is a punishable offense.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Also, there are, I mean, I shouldn't be saying this, but then it is a little bit discouraging for us also that on online, most of them, their videos are off. Then how are we going to be, marked with our attendance?
Right. Thank you for reminding me that point. So, Yugal Shampoo and West Coast to prove. He was doing DT worship today. He did dressing today, correct? So then he can do dressing, but he can't be in the class. Huh? So how is doing dressing? Anyway, that's not my problem. So, but in any case, so the point is that as far as the online is concerned, so our policy is that only those who are not in Pune can be online. If somebody is in Pune and not in one of these centers like Kharadi and what's the other one? Huh? Not Vishal Nagar. Hinjewadi. Yes, Hinjewadi, Kharadi or Kunjbihari. Kunjbihari also not so far. But as far as possible, and definitely if somebody is here in the temple and somebody is in any other part of Pune, then definitely our policy is that one must be here, unless there's some emergency. If somebody has emergency, not able to attend, then the policy is that at least one 24 hours before, then one should submit a letter, okay, as to why one is not able to attend. So please note, we have not concocted any of these policies. They're not my policies. The policies have been made by BVRV and sanctioned by Radhesham Prabhu. So it is up to each one of us to follow or not to follow. But till now, we have not been very strict in implementing them. So, but now we'll be implementing them. And in terms of implementation, so you will, Shampoo, please note. So you take the attendance properly. And then whoever is not fitting into that 75% criteria. So if somebody's attendance is less than 75% for that particular unit, you can send the names to Kaustuv Prabhu, and Kaustuv Prabhu will inform the respective devotees that they have to repeat the unit. Okay, so that's the policy.
So currently, because of this.
Okay, wait, I'm completing my thing. Please wait.
Okay. Yeah.
So as far as online is concerned, so online, as I already said, that if somebody is here, it's not that somebody sitting in the room and is sitting and hearing online, half on the bed and somewhere else. So, so if somebody is here, we request everyone kindly come to the classroom. Whose benefit is it? If we hear so much of Bhagavatam we're hearing, the glories of Bhagavatam we hear, so who is going to get benefit if we hear Bhagavatam properly? BVR will get benefit, temple management will get benefit. Who's going to get benefit? Huh? If we come to class on time, who will get the benefit? We're not doing favor to anybody else. It's very clear. If we perform devotional service sincerely, we will get the benefit. If we don't perform, we are the losers. So therefore, we were just speaking in the other NOD class that ideally, so Prabhupada is writing when he's describing sadhana bhakti, he's describing that the conditioned soul is like a mad person, influenced by the three modes. And just like the mad person needs to go to the psychiatrist to get treatment. So if he goes to the psychiatrist, takes the treatment properly, who gets the benefit? That person. The mad person gets benefit. He gets cured. So similarly, when the conditioned soul comes to devotional service and performs devotional service according to, so the psychiatrist is compared to whom? Huh?
Astras.
Psychiatrist, the doctor. Doctor is compared to whom? Spiritual master, the spiritual master. So when one follows the instructions of the spiritual master, so just like the patient gets cured of the disease, when one follows the instructions of the spiritual master, who gets cured? The conditioned soul. The conditioned soul. And to the degree one does not follow, whose disease continues? The conditioned. Who suffers? The conditioned soul. So if we follow, we are actually doing a favor on whom? So therefore, I was telling that actually there should be no attendance. There should be no attendance. There should be no need of attendance. Why there's a need of attendance? Right? Because we are coming here for whom? Ourselves. So who is responsible for, who should be enthusiastic to take the treatment? Is it that doctor has to be behind the patient? Hey, come. Doctor has to be behind the patient, or patient has to be enthusiastic to take the medicine? But we do find that in the mental asylum, when the disease is too much, then the patient actually has to be tied up and given medicine. It's a fact. We have seen it. Okay. So now I'm not going to explain the analogy further, but you can decide. So we can think for ourselves how much disease we have. So actually, at this level, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta level, there should be no need of attendance. There should be no need. Each one has to understand the responsibility for one's own life. It is I, the jiva, who's entrapped in this body, and I need to get out. Correct? Yes or no? Yes or no? So if I practice nicely, on whom am I doing a favor? Then why the attendance? Think for yourself. But Srila Prabhupada has made the point very clear. Everyone has to fly his own plane. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, then how will we attend online over here, offline because of the pandemic?
Okay, we'll let you know.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.